All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Locke. I'm the IBPA Director of Membership and Member Services. And this is my famous co-host, CCO Lee Wind. He's my colleague. Welcome, Lee.
Hi, everybody. We're really glad you're here.
Awesome. All right. So we want you all to know that, first of all, we appreciate you for being here. Ask questions. This is a place where we are here to answer questions. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to get the ball rolling on all the fancy stuff we're going to be talking about today. Okay. So we are Independent Book Publishers Association. We have multiple people on staff. Our CEO is Andrea Fleck-Nisbet. She's incredible, has been working in the industry for a long time and knows so much. I'm grateful to have her as a boss who's running things. As I mentioned, Lee Wins, our Chief Content Officer, runs all of our amazing programs. He's going to talk about them later. And then we have a bunch of other people on our staff. The thing I want to make sure that you all know is we have a makeup of membership, right? We have 45% independent publishers, which is you all. And then we have author publishers, also known as self-published authors. We don't like using that term because if you're doing it right, you are not doing it by yourself. That's something that we definitely focus on a lot. We also have publisher partners, and that is the people I mentioned earlier that are service providers. Some of them provide member benefits. Other ones provide amazing services, but it's not necessarily like a discounted rate for our members. But we're grateful to have them, and they know a lot about the industry. And then we have other types of members. We have authors, and the things that they can take advantage of are the like book marketing programs, things like that. But again, we really focus on publishing. So that's why the indie publisher and author publisher are the two biggest types of members that we have. Okay, so something I really want to make sure that everybody here knows, like IBPA exists to help you all succeed as publishers. Like everything we do is to do that. It started over 40 years ago for that purpose. We're still doing that. We're open to suggestions. We want to make sure that what we're doing is working. So if you do a program and you have feedback, tell us. We want to know. We change things all the time. So keep that in mind. We are ever evolving.
And if I can interject, I just want to let you know that we are a not-for-profit association. We're a 501c6. So our goal is not to make the most money. Our goal is to be of the most service to you.
Yeah, I'm a volunteer. I don't get paid anything because
We do get paid, but it's a nonprofit gig.
Okay. All right. So here's something really important. I don't think as many members know about this. Sub-accounts. You all, as independent publishers, have coworkers and you have employees, and they have different roles within your company. And our membership benefits has many different things that are helpful to you all that might be helpful. Let's say you're the in charge of marketing and you have someone on your team is in design, someone else who's the CEO. You should sign all of them up in your membership. So probably a lot of you all here are the people that's the primary account. So you just need to find, and I will show it to you now, how you find it. You just need to find the sub-account link, okay? It's going to be in your, let me share my screen real quick.
And this is free, guys. This is, or folks, didn't mean to gender that. There's no additional charge on your membership. You can add, I think it's up to 9 other seats on your membership. So Christopher's sharing your screen so you can figure out how to do this.
Okay, so this is the main page. Everyone should be familiar with it. At the top where you want to sign in. And by the way, I recommend every time you come to our site, signing in, because you're going to get the member rate for the products. You're going to get the, when you sign in for a webinar or things like that, which we're going to talk about, you actually then have it connected to your account, which is helpful to us and you. If you register for an event and you're not signed in, it'll set up a non-member account. Anyway, it's complicated. So just sign up every time you go to this page at the top, sign in, and you sign in. Okay, and it most likely will take you to this page. Sometimes it takes you, because you're on some other page, to something like some page like this. All you got to do is go to this top part, my profile. Okay, so you come in, you're going to go to the top here and click on account and settings. And then you're going to come to information and settings. And by the way, play around with your profile. There's tons of stuff, but we don't have time to go through all of it. Okay, go to employees. So this is where you find this link. If you go here, you copy it, you send it to your coworkers, and you say, hey, you know, I want you to sign up for, you know, underneath your account, you're the primary account, a sub account, and they will have access to all the member benefits. They will be able to sign in under their own name, their own email address, everything. And they will be able to, what if they're, again, in charge of marketing, do those programs or whatever other benefits that fit them. If this was confusing, just email us. Just say, hey, I don't know. You talked about that link. I don't know where it is. Just let us know.
And also, everybody's good that registered for this is going to get a copy of the recording, so you can go through and watch the video slowly and go step by step as well.
Yes. Okay. So the other thing I want to mention here is your profile. It's really important for you to make sure that you're, you know, complete here, because sometimes we will go to, we'll make up programs, we'll find benefits, and we base it on our membership, right? So when you remember when you signed up, there were questions like, well, how many books have you published? Are you a trade publisher, hybrid publisher, stuff like that. By us knowing that, we know how to get benefits that fit y'all. So if you could take a time to go in here and just, you know, put in these answers. I put in some of mine, the types of books I published. It's also going to be helpful. I'll show you later on. Other people who are looking to connect, and they're looking for publishers that publish. So for example, I do like books about animals. Well, if they're looking to connect with a publisher like that, if I say that, I'll come up when they search. Okay. So let me go back to my other main screen, and we want to show you all the benefits. The benefits are really one of the more popular things that members sign up for. They absolutely love it. And we really hope that you all take the time to go through. I'm going to show you that page. You're going to want to go through that entire page to access all the benefits. Let me skip over here. Here we go. And if you can't find this, go to membership on the tab here, scroll down to member benefits, and you can just literally click right here and it'll take you to this page. Go through this page. We have like 100 benefits. And again, we have some of them here on this call. And you're going to notice that they're in different categories. So for example, we have companies that give our members discounts on audiobook production, right? 4 different companies that do that. And these are vetted by IBPA, our membership committee, and our board of directors. So these are companies that we've taken the time to look through and go, yep, these are amazing companies. They give great products, and then they give you a discount. Okay, so go on this page, and then you should look through and you're like, okay, let me see. I want to create a member. I want to benefit about how to create a website. Okay, so one of them is called PubSite. You read, every page is going to have this. It's going to explain what the benefit is. And then at the bottom, this is very important. This is how you access the benefit. Every single benefit has this on the page, okay? You click on that. You're going to need to, again, log into your account. I'm already logged in, so it's going to take me to that page. It's then going to have an explanation how you're going to access it. Okay, so this one, you click here to sign up for PubSite. It gives you a special rate. You can also click on this form and connect with them, right? But other ones are going to have a promo code. So you're going to go to the other website. Let's say it's something like Ingram Spark. You're going to go to Ingram Spark's site, and you're going to put in that promo code in the checkout area. Some of them have a link that takes you to a special page that's only for IBPA members. So it's different each time, but it's always going to be explained here. And some people seem to get confused. So I want to make sure to walk you all through that process.
And Christopher, can you go back to the main benefits page for just a second? I want to point out the pro tip that Christopher just did. The other day, I had a member ask about, do we have any lawyers that we recommend for publishing stuff? You can search legal, or you can search attorney, and it takes you right there on the benefits page. There's so many benefits. So take advantage of the search, because immediately you can get what you need. And then if you go through, there was the list of 6, vetted legal people that we recommend. So I do it all the time. It's super useful.
And again, we're open to suggestions. So as members, if y'all are like, oh, I'd love to have a member benefit with MailChimp or something, just let us know. We take your feedback very seriously. And so we will look into it. And by the way, yes, we've already tried to work on MailChimp. We have ones we're working on. But just let us know, because if we don't know that you all want to benefit, then we may not pursue it. Okay, so I do want to just, obviously we have many different benefits, and I don't want to like make it seem like any are more important than others. But I did want to just, share this, which is that we have a few that you may want to start with. So Bowker is where you get your ISBNs. We get members get a 15% discount on those. Lightning Source, Ingram Spark, very popular ones. We get Kirkus Reviews, and then a ton of other trade publications give our members discounts on their reviews. FedEx, I'm sure all y'all do shipping. Edelweiss, BookScan, and Metacomment does royalties. So these are just a few. Literally have 100, but go through, and if you're confused or don't know how to use a benefit, then just reach out to us or reach out to that company and just say, because a lot of times on that page it'll say the contact information, and just make sure when you contact them, say I'm an IBPA member, and then they'll go, oh great, so that you don't sign up somehow for the wrong rate. But again, these are just a few of the many benefits. Hey, Lee, anything else you want to add about benefits? Or
I was just thinking, like, yeah, we didn't even include the fact that like our webinar series is free for members. That's a benefit. Slack is a benefit, that we have the IBPA Slack. I think maybe we said it. We set up these slides like last week, and I can't even remember.
we're gonna go. Don't worry, we're going through all of that. Well, we're going through.
Cool.
Okay. Okay. So networking opportunities. One of the most important things about membership is when you join, you are now connected to 3,500 other publishing professionals. That's really important, because one of the best ways to learn about publishing is by talking to other publishers who do exactly what you do. So I'm going to show you our member, the way that you connect to the member directory. And it's really helpful for people, so that let me just go to the page and I'll walk you through it. Okay. So you're going to go to the main site, resources, industry directories, and you'll see it says IBPA member directory. And again, tons of stuff on here. I don't have time to go through all these other ones, but of course you want to check these other ones out at some point. One really helpful thing is the IBPA Supplier and Services Discovery Database. Everyone who signs up as a publisher partner automatically goes into this, okay? So if y'all are looking for design services, distribution, they're all going to go here. One note, we don't vet them, right? Like, so anyone can sign up to be a member, right? So we don't vet those companies. And so, I'm sure they're amazing. But if you're looking for companies that are vetted, again, it's that main list that I just showed you. Okay. Member directory. So let's say I'm a hybrid publisher and I want to connect with other hybrid publishers, but I want to make sure that they're at my level, right? I've been publishing for 20 years. I want them to have published at least 51 to 100 books. So that's an important thing, because sometimes we have members who say, oh, I want to connect with someone else. I've been in the business for 20 years. I don't want to, just be a mentor. I want to learn from someone who knows exactly where I am. So that's a really important one. Again, another one that you want to pick is whatever you publish. And you might publish different genres. So you'll do different searches, but let's just say science fiction. You can search by area. You do not need to fill all this out, right? Like, you technically, if you want to meet with someone who, is in your area, then you can, but you don't have to. That's as much as you need to do. But you can do an independent publisher. Anyway, click continue. And all of the people that fill those criteria, they're going to show up. So these are all the members here who fulfill that criteria. Julie's on our board, by the way. She's amazing. So we want to make sure that you all do this, connect to each other. As a note, if you're a publisher partner, you're a company that provides services, do not email other people to solicit. So we are very protective of our members, and we have ways for publisher partners to connect through advertising. We don't want our members to suddenly start getting a bunch of emails, like, hey, I, do printing or whatever. That is it for a different place. This is meant for, publishers and people to connect about publishing questions. So I just want to make sure that's clear. Does anybody have any questions yet? Or are we doing an incredible job explaining everything?
Well, you're doing an incredible job. I'm just, here to look pretty.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let me go back to my slide and share my screen, because I do want to talk about a few other things. You know what? Actually, I want to share the member roundtables. So, we were just talking about hoping that you all connect to each other. A great way to do that is we have mostly monthly, sometimes not every month, but we have these things called roundtables. And again, if you're in the back, you can always get to the front of the website by clicking that IBPA logo. So these are our events. And if you're looking for the roundtables, you'll notice I went to IBPA events, member roundtables. We've split them up by independent publisher and author publisher because I'm sure you all know, but as indie publishers, your businesses run differently than author publishers' businesses do. So I want you all to come in here and you click on the page and it's really easy. It'll explain, okay, well, what's the focus that week? And then I think I have a lot of pages of them. Okay, great. You'll go here and you just click register. If you're an indie publisher, you can sign up for this one. If you're an author publisher, you cannot sign up for this one. We don't want author publishers coming because we have a separate one just for author publishers, and we want to make sure that the two don't confuse the conversation.
Right, just like today's meeting, we did two separate ones of these sessions, right? Right now, we're doing the how to get the most out of your out of IBPA membership for indie publishers. And then later today, we'll do one for author publishers.
Yeah, and each page is going to go through an explanation of everything we're going to be talking about in the roundtable, and come with questions. Come with, so this one's about distribution, okay? A lot of people, probably the most popular question is going to be, how do you get traditional distribution? But come with other questions such as, why, is there a time when it's not a good fit for me? Maybe talk to people about, well, what were the things when they did get distribution that they did in the application that worked? Or if you have traditional distribution, you should come with questions like, I'm having difficulty connecting with them, getting into Target or whatever, certain bookstores or retail stores. How did you get them to do that? And then it'll have different resources on each page that are, and again, this is why you want to click here. You want to see all the different places that we have other things related to this topic. Okay, so hopefully you all will sign up for those. Lee, I want to talk about the Slack workspace. So let's go to the page, and then Lee's going to talk us through this amazing, in the last year, new benefit.
Yeah, so we used to have a listserv, but while we had a lot of people that were there, we didn't have a lot of activity on it. So we did a lot of research and we determined that Slack might be a better platform for our members to connect, especially since it's very mobile friendly. You can do it on your phone or on your desktop computer or your laptop or your iPad. It really works on whatever platform you want, and it remembers you as long as you're signed in. So it's a private workspace just for IBPA members. You cannot get on it unless you're a member. And we have a ton of channels that are public. There's a list. It's actually, I need to update it because we've added a couple just last week. We have about 16 what we call micro volunteers that for 5 minutes a week, they'll go onto one of the channels and just make sure the conversation is going. They'll ask a question, or they'll share a resource, or they'll answer somebody's question. It's been very active so far. We've seen about 20 times the engagement on Slack than we used to have on the listserv. And people are asking questions and they're getting 7, 10 answers. It's mainly been that. It's mainly been sort of like questions and answers in terms of like, and people sharing like, oh, I have this book coming out, which is fun to celebrate the news. We do also have some private groups in that space. We have affinity channels. Actually, Christopher, if you scroll down, people can see the list. And if you are a member of one of those groups, the disabled community, BIPOC, marginalized communities of color, the queer community, or women in publishing, there are specific affinity groups that you can join. You do have to be identify as a member of those communities to be part of that. That has not gotten as much participation yet, because I think that most of the people are going on Slack with like, hey, I have this challenge. But it's still very early days. We have 320 people signed into Slack right now. which is a little less than 10% of our membership, and we're hoping to grow it to 20. And I see a question, does Slack integrate with the account I already have? If you use the same email address, yes, you can actually have multiple workspaces on your Slack. I have 3. So I have 3 different workspaces that I can access when I go into Slack.
And
It's very cool.
yeah, and you'll go to the bottom, just like every other benefit. You go to the bottom, how to access this benefit. You'll log on, you'll click here, and it'll give you a link to help you sign up for it. So that's how you access it. You just click here, there's a link, and then if you have any questions, you can email Lee, but that's how you do it. Something I will say about a benefit like this is, members a lot of times will reach out to IBPA staff, right? And say, hey, I have a question about publishing. And of course, we're happy to answer it. But, and by the way, I'm an author publisher, Lee's an author and an author publisher. So we do know, about publishing. Andrea has worked in the industry in indie publishing, Ingram, lots of places. But the people who are going to know exactly what you're going through are the other indie publishers, right? Who are members. So something like this is, I would say, one of your first places you should check, just so that, you're 100% connecting with indie publishers. But again, you're always welcome to reach out to staff, and we have a list of, like Lee was saying, micro volunteers. We're going to talk about that later. We can connect you then with other indie publishers that can answer your questions if you're having trouble connecting. Okay. Anything else about Slack? I think that was good, right?
I think it's a good place to go to answer a question.
Okay.
To get a question answered and to answer a question.
Yeah. And by the way, on that note, help other people, right? I know, a lot of times we think, oh, I want to go and I want to post a question, right? Great. But maybe you also should go in and just look at the questions and say, oh, I know that, like make this a community give and take.
Right. Also, I'm going to share one more thing. What I do is that when I read a really interesting article about our publishing community, I will sometimes just copy the link and I'll go over to Slack and go to the channel where it's about, and I'll be like, hey, I just read this. I thought it was really interesting, and I'll just share it. Because sometimes I don't know what to do with that, right? Like I'm working remotely from home, so is Christopher. Like, how do you share stuff with your community? Well, Slack's a great way to do it. It's that water cooler.
Someone's asking Lee if there's tech support services.
Slack has some tech support where they can, they have people to help, because we're not like tech, we're not an IT department ourselves, but we can try to help you if, or help you connect with who you need help with.
Okay, another really incredible place to connect with other members and indie publishers in general is IBPA Publishing University. We do it every year. It's in a different place every year. So this last year was in Denver. And then now next year, 2025, is in St. Paul/Minnesota, the Twin Cities. It's May 15th through 17th. You as a member get a discount when you sign up. And we don't have the schedule up yet because, we're still building that. But if you sign up now, it'll go through, our website, and we do have an early bird special right now. So I do recommend, if you do want to go, all of the sessions that we do, it's an educational event. They're always really interesting and catered to what you all have told us you want. So if you want to go, do it now. I wouldn't wait, because then the price is just going to go up. But it's a really incredible place. And I know it's kind of like summer camp for indie publishers, where like at the end of the weekend, like people have made new friends in publishing. They've talked to people that they admire who work in the industry for many years. So in terms of like people being invigorated, it's like one of the best things you could do. Lee, you want to?
Sorry.
Okay.
I was just gonna say there's some real magic that happens. Some of the connections, some of the business development things that happen at PubU are kind of remarkable. And we're going to be launching a series of like cool, good news stories of connections that people made from PubU. Because while the sessions are great, what's really magical is being in that space with all these other people and having these one-on-one conversations.
Yeah, and on that note, with indie publishers, but also, we have these companies that have tables. So Ingram's there, companies that, Blue Ink Reviews, Metacom, all these companies are there for you all to connect with in person and ask some questions that you're like, should I use this? Well, there you go. All these people are there to talk to them. And if you need maybe help financially, we do every year give out scholarships. So if you go here, apply. If you don't apply, you can't win. But if you do, you might. So give it a try. So anyway, come back here at some point to learn more about that, because it's a really great place. And something I want to remind everybody, just like the Slack workspace that Lee was talking about, just be kind to everybody, be helpful. Again, don't sell to each other. This is meant to be a friendly place for people to connect. Okay. Let me go back to the slides. I want to share the educational stuff.
And I'm sharing in the chat a bunch of the links of the things we've been talking about.
Oh, good. Fantastic. Okay. So IBPA is meant to be a place for you all to learn. And we've set up tons of places to do that. I'm going to show you on our site where to find these things, but I'll just kind of quickly walk through what they are. We have webinars. As Lee said, you all, as members, you get free access to all of our webinars. So we have new ones, which I'll show you where you can find them, but then we have an archive of all of our older webinars that are still very relevant. And there's like 100 of them. I mean, there's tons of content. We have member benefits webinars. Generally, we do them every month. Those are intended to explain to you, well, what are these benefits, and then how you use them. But then again, they're meant to be educational. So next month in August, we're doing a webinar. Oh no, it's this month in July. We're doing a webinar with Bowker, and they're going to talk about, well, why Bowker, ISBNs are important, but then also they're going to talk about marketing called Book to Look. And it's then explaining, well, what are these resources for? We also, as members, you get a bi-monthly IBPA independent magazine. And that's, again, free with your membership. So everything I've talked about comes with your membership so far. And it's all kinds of stuff about indie publishing. So that's, again, why you want to make sure you fill out your profile completely, because if your address is incorrect, then we're not able to send you your magazine. And then whatever address we have on file is where we're going to send it, right? So let's say you want it sent to your home address and not your work. Just make sure whatever address we have is the one that you want the magazine to go to. We also have the podcast. If you go onto any app, Apple, Google, all that, it's called Inside Independent Publishing with IBPA. I'm the host, and I interview people in the publishing industry about all kinds of issues related to publishing. And it's one of my favorite things that I do, because I love chatting with people. I just love picking their brain. So I've learned a lot, and I definitely have members who tell me they learn a lot. Okay, so let's go to the website. I'm going to kind of walk you through where to find some of this stuff. I want to make sure that y'all don't finish this webinar and then go, yeah, I don't know what to do now. Okay, so webinars, IBPA events. You go down here to IBPA online webinars upcoming, okay? And these are all the various things that are coming up. This is what we're doing today, but translation rights is tomorrow. Then we have that Bowker one I was talking about. So anyway, look through here. We got tons of them. The workshops are separate. They're incredible. They do cost a different cost, but that's because they're like a 6-week, they have like, a bunch of stuff that they do. They're pretty intense and they're amazing. So we hope that you all will go to this page and check that out. The other thing I wanted to was go to the podcast again. It's also on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and look up that name, then you'll be able to, watch the podcast as well. Another really helpful resource, HubSpot. So this is IBPA's website where I know our main website can be a little confusing sometimes to kind of find stuff. So if you come to this, it actually helps organize things better. So you remember all those webinars I was telling you about? Well, right here. If you click on that, it takes you to all the webinars, all these amazing things. Each one's like an hour. I mean, it's tons of great content. Only you get access to it. You notice how there's this little lock button? That's because you have to be a member and you have to be signed in. You just go to the top, and it should sign you in. If you're logged into your IBPA account, it should automatically sign you in. So that's the webinars. And then we have, oh gosh, there's so many, I have to scroll so far down. Then we have podcasts. So they're all here. Again, they're also on the YouTube channel. Or you might want to look up, and this is something important I want you all to think about. People on your team, if you're someone who works with you, who's a designer, well, you want them to come in here and learn about design. Or someone on your team is trying to get distribution. Have them come here, click on one of these, and to learn about that. How do you distribute to the library market? So don't just think about yourself, think about your team, what they should learn. If you're like a CEO, think about the resources that IBPA provides, not just you as a CEO, but all of your team. The other thing I want to show you all are these resource centers. Okay, so again, I went to resource, scroll down, resource centers. These are, some of them are just for members and some are for everyone. So Ally is a great organization that is for independent authors and they have a lot of content that can be helpful to even indie publishers. Copyright Resource Center, DEI Resource Center, these are available to everyone, but some of these other ones are only available to you all. And distribution, all things distribution. Click on that one, metadata resource. Let me click on the DEI Resource Center and show you kind of what they look like. It has just content, just to learn, come here, how, if you're trying to figure out if you're, with your own books, you want to make sure that the language is appropriate for everyone. You want to make sure that you want to hire people, a diverse staff. Great, look at all these resources. Lee, I know you did a lot of work to help set up these resource centers. Anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, we tried to aggregate everything. The DEI committee for IBPA, which is a volunteer committee, they are tasked with updating the DEI Resource Center, and they will be doing that in the coming fiscal year, which just started in July 1st. I think there are other resource centers that we need to do more updating of, but between the resource centers and searching on PubSpot, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good triangulation of information about what you might be interested in.
So again, I just want you, I know it's a lot to learn, but so you don't have to necessarily, read all of this. But again, we created this for you all to help you. So I do hope you take the time to review them and go through. Okay, so let me go back to the slides. We want to talk about the different marketing programs we have. And let me share that real quick. Lee is in charge of our book marketing program, so he's going to take over.
Yeah, I think that, this was actually Christopher's thing that he suggested we add to the slide. Like, first, figure out who you're trying to reach, and then figure out how you're going to reach them. And sometimes the answer is not going to be an IBPA program, and that's totally cool. Remember, we're a nonprofit. We're just here to be of the most help. Christopher and I actually have a different roadshow, which is a review of all the member benefits related to marketing. And it's like an hour-long video, and that is posted right now. It lives on the home page of the IBPA website. But generally, if you go to the store on the IBPA website, Christopher, I'll navigate and you drive. So on the IBPA website, on the front end, right, if you click that top, the IBPA logo, you'll see the store, go to for publishers, and then that pop-up list that comes up, that's all the things. But if you also just click for publishers, Christopher, just click the first one, you're gonna get, you'll see the squares, the product squares, and you can sort of scroll down and see, like, okay, we don't have a pretty graphic yet for Bologna or Guadalajara, but those are things we're going to be doing. But if you're interested in like the media outreach program, you can click on that and it'll give you all the products, all the things that comprise that program. There's the base program, and then there are a couple of additional things that you can do. Christopher, bounce back once. You can choose something different, like the NetGalley program. And again, you can see all your different options. And sometimes there's a lot of different options. I think NetGalley has more than 10. because there's a lot of additional things you can do besides put your book in that program to build buzz. So it's definitely worth exploring. We don't have time to go into it all now, but that's why we did the other video. So you can certainly check that out.
Yeah, and I'll just really quickly show you all with the main list of benefits. Um, we have PR and marketing, and there's a section here. So PR and marketing, and if you scroll down, this is that video that we were just talking about. So something I think is really important that I want to mention about our products is, there are a lot of things that when you sign up for membership come with membership, right? And then there's these book marketing programs, and they do cost more. But I want to make it clear, these are things that the whole point of when IBPA was set up, all these publishers were trying to do these things. They were trying to get into libraries. They were trying to get into bookstores. They were trying to get into all these markets, and it's so expensive. The library, so we have the ALA conference every year, right? So we have a booth that we set up, and the booth costs us like, what is it, like $60,000 or so? It's like so expensive, right, Lee?
It's so expensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually redesigned our booth this year just to make it less expensive and to bring down the cost. But yeah, that idea of collectively we can do more than we could do independently. That's sort of the whole ethos of IBPA, right? Like we had 369 books from publishers in the IBPA booth, and our booth was huge. It was 45 feet long by 10 feet deep. And we had a real presence. And then we had these signing tables. Like it was very, very cool. It gave access to, for less than $200, publishers could have their book on a shelf for like an additional 99. They could have a half hour at a signing table where the author could sign and give away copies to librarians, which was super popular. This is a photo of the new design of the booth. It is, and then we scan the badges of all. This is the people waiting in line to get a signed copy of the book and looking at the books while they were waiting. And we scan the badges of we asked, consent, of course. We asked for consent to scan badges, and almost everybody said yes. And then we have that list of, I think it was 1,650
Mhm.
plus librarians and people that visited the booth, and that is shared with all the publishers who paid to have a book in that booth for display. And it's not for them to be spammed. Like we want to be really respectful of those librarians, but if they were interested in your book, if you see that there are children's librarians and you publish children's books, I think it's totally cool to say, hey, send them an email and say, hey, thank you so much for visiting the IBPA booth at ALA. We're really excited. We hope that you got a chance to look at our book, XYZ. And, if you're interested in learning more about the book, or you would like a free review copy, or, then you make your pitch, right? Like, if you'd like to sign up for our newsletter, please click here. It's a really cool way to start to, connect. And it's all powered by the fact that like you didn't have to spend $15,000 or $20,000 to have your own booth at ALA.
Yeah, and I just want to drive the point home, as Lee mentioned, like, we're a nonprofit, but I just don't want people thinking we're like trying to upsell with these other programs. Like there's a reason they have an additional cost just because we have to pay money to do them. But, just focus on what market you're trying to connect with, libraries, bookstores. You don't have to do all of them, and you should only do the ones you think you have a good chance. I mean, the bookstore catalog is one that Lee and I talk to people about that, if you don't have distribution, then it's very unlikely your book's just not going to get into the bookstore. We don't tell everybody, yes, you have to do this one. Like it's something that we only want people to do if they have their books set up to most likely get into bookstores. So
my joke about the bookstore program is that I spent half my time working on that program telling people not to participate.
oh, right. So let me go back and share this. This is a something that I think people don't think as much about. But when we talk to members and they say, the thing that really made me feel like I was part of, this community and indie publishing community was when they started to actually do things within IBPA, because now they're connecting with other publishers and working with them. and they're actually helping to make IBPA a better place. So, for example, the membership committee helps pick benefits. And that means that if there's things you all want, if you're on that committee, well, you're going to pitch that, right? So let's talk about what are the ways that you can get involved and connect with other publishers within the IBPA community. We have committees, which we'll walk through in a second. We have the board of directors. We have an annual meeting of members that we every year we have to have a meeting that we bring together, and we talk about all the things that we do as a organization, and we vote on who the new board of directors are going to be. We hope that you'll come so that you can learn about it, but also so you get involved and you vote. We have these micro volunteering opportunities. The Slack, as Lee mentioned, is something that you can tell him, hey, I want to be one of the moderators. I want to go in there and help answer questions. I have one, I'll share it in the chat, where remember how I said that you can connect with me or one of our staff member, and then we will say, okay, I don't know this answer, but I'm going to connect you with another indie publisher. Well, you all can be that person. If you know a lot about indie publishing, well, take the time to, and it's not tons of work, right? It's just like every now and then I'll email you and say, hey, this person has a question about ISBNs. I don't know the answer. Can you answer it for me? And you can even say, I'm too busy. You don't have to do it. And then we have volunteer opportunities at IBPA Publishing University and the ALA conference. And when you volunteer, you get a chance to see the inner workings of everything and get to know people a little better. Lee, as a top level, you want to mention anything here, or I'm just going to take them to those different pages?
I think, yeah, let's show them the committees.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to share that page.
And I think you can also think of volunteering as like a stepping stones, right? Like you can be a volunteer for 5 minutes a week or 15 minutes a month. And then if you're liking that, you can apply to be on a committee. And then if you're liking that, you can, come and help us at Publishing University or ALA. And then if you've been doing all these things, you'll be on the radar. So when you apply to sit on the board, we'll see that you have this history of participation in IBPA, and you have a much better chance of being selected for a board service.
Okay, committees. We have multiple ones. We've got the DEI committee. We have the editorial advisory committee. Well, while we go through, let me talk about what they are. And Lee, you more than welcome. You even run some of these. So the DEI committee, Lee, you're the liaison for that one.
Right. Each committee has a staff liaison, and the goal is, how do we? Every committee is aligned with IBPA's strategic goals. So actually, Christopher, can you bounce to the strategic goals for a second? So mission, vision, and values. So this is an important thing to know, what's our mission? I was saying that we're a nonprofit, so we have a defined mission, vision, we have our core values, we have a code of ethics that we require our members to do. We have a DEI commitment, and we also have, our sort of strategic goals that are then aligned with all of our committees. So there's sort of like a vertical logic to it. So one of our strategic goals is to, I'm forgetting the pretty language of it, but it's to make the industry more inclusive, make publishing more inclusive. And one of the ways we can do that is by having a DEI committee.
All right, we have the editorial advisory committee. The main goal of this one is to help with the IBPA Independent Magazine. They do all of the topics for the year. So that's a really cool one to get involved with. Legislation Standards Committee. So we used to have a IBPA advocacy committee, but we kind of split it up. So this is one of those, and this one just advocates for issues that IBPA knows that independent publishers want to be talking about. So if you really care about advocating for indie publishers, this is the one for you. Industry Advisory Committee. This one is newer, and it's we know that there's established publishers out there that have been in the business for like 20 some years and all that, and they have issues that are a little different than someone who's just starting out. So this one is advocating on behalf of those publishers, for example, something like traditional distribution and working with distributors and all that kind of stuff. It's a really cool new committee. And then we have the membership committee. And as I said, this one, I'm the staff liaison. And we do everything from talking about member recruitment. So how do we get new members, to making sure that you all, as current members, are happy. You know, what can we do to serve you all? And then we talk about the member benefits. So it's a really great committee to do all that. And as we discussed, we have the board of directors. That is, you have to be a member for at least a year to be able to become to sign up to be on the board of directors, and then you have to be voted in. So you know, we want to make sure that we get, you know, we kind of vet everyone. So but it's, you know, it is a pretty big board. So but anyway, we're grateful to them. They help give us the strategic plan and tell us, you know, what are the things that they want us to focus on for the next year. So let's go back. We have the micro volunteering opportunities. So let me put in the chat. There's one that is really helpful to me, is where y'all answer the questions. So if you want to give advice to members, I won't bother you all the time, but every now and then members will reach out with something that staff is just like, you know, we don't know about this one. And so I'll just email you to say, hey, do you know about this? Would you be willing to answer this person's question? So that's a helpful one. So just fill out that. And let's move to the next topic. Okay, so let's get your feedback. This is now the time. If you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand. Again, you just go to React, raise your hand, and we're happy to answer it. We're here to make sure that you have, you know, the best experience with IBPA. So, you know, for example, I'll start off. Someone was asking, you know, about the member directory and how they connect to other publishers that do math and science books. I would go there and look at the different categories. We've got a ton. And if there's not someone that says like specifically math or whatever, look at maybe nonfiction, or just kind of scroll through and
professional, technical, I would check out.
Yeah, something like that.
I know we have a publisher that does like very detailed books about like Python and different coding languages and stuff. So I know that they displayed their books at ALA. So
okay, so Kristen, you have a question. We want to answer that.
Hi guys. Thank you for this. I've been a member of lots of nonprofits and I haven't seen anyone as organized as you. So thank you. Also, I went to PubU. Well, I joined your organization right before going to PubU, and so I'm new to everything. But there, things were divided by, you know, traditional format, hybrid, author, few books, lots of books, you know, so we could go to the right sessions. So on this stuff, you just said today, and this is a very basic thing, that you're dividing things by indie and author. And so I didn't know, I'm sort of hybrid and author, so I didn't know if hybrid fit into indie or what. So can you, when I'm doing everything else, what should I be focusing on? If I'm hybrid-ish and author-ish.
I think you can look at both. I mean, Christopher, I don't know if you want to take this, but basically, I mean, we're trying to create shortcuts for people because like there is so much. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is trying to help create more pathways, right? So if you are a hybrid, and generally hybrid comes in with traditional indies. So
Okay.
it's sort of like under the indie publisher, you know, umbrella. Because it's just you're still an indie publisher. You just have a different business, a slightly different business model. So yeah, we're just trying to kind of like, with the basic idea of dividing it into 4 quadrants, right? We have the indie publishers that are sort of starting out and still trying to get basic information, and then the ones that have been doing it for a while and they kind of have the basics and they're ready to level up. Like, and generally we're saying that's less than 10 books, more than 10 books. And then doing the same on the author publisher side.
Yeah, and Kristen, you publish other people's books, right? As the hybrid publisher.
Yes, I do, but it's family, myself and my co-authors, and then a few other people. And so I'm in the process of thinking, what do I want to do? How do I want to do it. In fact, I do a lot of author services, and until I went to PubU, I didn't even know what you guys all called my job. So I learned all kinds of new vocabulary to describe myself, and I met a lot of other people like me. And I have just been doing word of mouth work for decades with people. And so sometimes, yes, I publish books, but I haven't distributed them or marketed them. So that's why I went to PubU. And then my head exploded because I learned all this other stuff. So I'm trying to put it all together. I thought I was starting out, but I've published more than 10 books.
I mean,
So
the idea is that it's not like a line you can't cross, right? I mean, it's all available to you. The question is just, what's going to help you the most? I mean, if you have 20 books out, but you still feel like you need to get more understanding of updating your metadata on a regular 6-month rotational basis, and you need to figure out how to do that, or you're ready to figure out how to make your marketing efforts more scalable. Like, it doesn't, you can't, it's not to prevent you from accessing other things. It's just to help streamline things. So you're looking at 50 benefits rather than 100, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it. I just wanted to know where you guys put hybrid. And I am taking scalable marketing right now, and he's super awesome. So that's
Oh,
fun.
great. Thank you.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Alan was asking, are there specific areas for marketing fiction versus, say, like nonfiction?
So we do sometimes we will divide it up. Most of our programs, we try to be very clear about who you're reaching. So like the library e-blast is a good example. Like, we have e-blasts of 15 titles that just show, that are just reaching out to elementary school librarians, or they're a pitch to public library adult librarians, but it's just fiction titles. So it kind of depends where you're trying to reach. Different programs are more appropriate for different things. It kind of depends who you. It kind of depends.
Yeah, and if you go to like PubSpot, for example, like we have the marketing, I can show you my screen, but there's a whole area about marketing. So, I would say, I'd leave it up to you to go into here, and, with all of these, there's going to be so many different types of, articles, podcasts, you name it. And so some might be directed specifically for fiction. So you may want to, give that a go. But you're welcome to also reach out to us and ask us, if we have maybe some examples or something.
You
Okay.
could also search fiction in PubSpot and under marketing and see what pops. I do see a question from Madeline. Is there a group on Slack knowledgeable about KDP? Yeah, there's a whole channel just about Amazon and the thesaurus that the challenges that people are having with it, and advice on how to navigate that. So definitely check that out.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
I know Amazon in general is a subject matter that a lot of members have questions about. So we've done our best to try to have areas where people can talk about that. Like, we've had roundtables about Amazon specifically, and we have different podcasts, different webinars. So it's certainly something that our members are talking about, and we've tried to provide different resources, and we will continue to do that. I know it can be complex.
Yes, thank you.
And maybe even frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? We want to make sure we were going to do where we were going to have you help you all connect, but we're getting a little late on time. So I'll tell you what that is. Basically, during every roundtable, we have a shuffle, and we also have a breakout room where everybody here live can then go into a smaller room with maybe like 4 people, and you'll talk about different things. And I know, like, if I get into a room of people, I can sometimes be shy, but if I'm with only 2 or 3 people, absolutely feel a lot more comfortable to talk. So the roundtables is a good place to do that. We were going to do it here so you all could meet each other, but we're almost out of time. But go to the roundtables if that's the type of thing you want to do to connect and ask people questions. Before we finish, though, is there any other thing? I want to make sure we're answering all y'all's questions. You can, of course, email us. So I'm going to put on the screen really quickly our email address in case you haven't seen it before. info@ibpa-online.org. That's our main one. And so when we check it, if you ask about maybe book marketing, they might direct you to Lee. Or if they ask you about a member benefit, they might direct you to me. And then you can always call us. Something that I'm really proud of that we do is we answer our phones. I know there are other companies that people, become part of, maybe an association or just companies, and you're like, well, I just gave you my money. I want to talk to someone. So we are happy to talk to you. We have someone in the office Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're on the Pacific coast. So give us a call. Again, we're here to answer your questions and we'll help direct you. But it's something that
If you leave a message, someone will call you back too.
yeah, so we'll just go into the void. So let me make sure. So it looks like that's pretty much it. I can't tell you all how grateful we are to have you as members. Please get involved, take advantage. That's one of the things I worry the most is people join for maybe like one benefit, like let's say NetGalley or something, and then the whole year goes by and then they don't do really anything else. And you're spending your hard-earned money. Take advantage of what you've just gotten access to. We have so many resources, and you don't have to do the bookmarking programs. We have so many things you can do that save you thousands of dollars on, Ingram Spark, Metacomment, whatever it is. Please do the benefits. I want you to make the most out of it. So thank you for your time today. And again, you can reach out if you have any further questions. We're grateful for you. And yes, I will email the recording sometime later this week. So I promise we'll get it to you. And for everyone who's watching this that is recorded, you can still reach out to us. So thank you, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.